Good morning, everybody. It's a great privilege and honor to be here and to give a contribution from the perspective of innovation policies. I'm very lucky that my intervention is after interventions by such authoritative scientists, so they describe it very well, which is the global situation, which are the challenges, but also which is the global the situation in the Mediterranean and the challenges of the Mediterranean. So I will be more fast in this part. What I'm starting with is to remind which are the main Mediterranean challenges. And basically, I refer here to three issues which were already mentioned: the acuteness of climate change, and I don't want to add any figure because the figures were already mentioned. But what I would like to underscore is that climate change does not respect national borders. So this issue is an issue which regards all the area, and from outside the Mediterranean, people and experts are much more aware than we who live in the Mediterranean that the Mediterranean is a very vulnerable, is a real hotspot for climate change. The second challenge is migratory flows and unbalanced population growth. It was already mentioned, and this is something that is destabilizing the area. We have political and social instability. We have issues of urbanization. And what is clear is that we have a more and more part of the Mediterranean population living in the southern shore of the rim. The third issue which was mentioned is that we have a transition towards less healthy food with severe problems for individual health, but also for our national health systems in terms of burden and costs. So, as it was said before, we are aware of the issues. What I would like to underscore with reference to the Mediterranean are these 3 points. The first one is that, as I said before, challenges do not borders. Second, there is a strong interrelation among these issues. And thirdly, food systems affect all these challenges, and they are affected by them. So agriculture contributes to pollution, to degradation, to loss of biodiversity. As it was said, 1/3 of global greenhouse gas emissions come from agriculture. But also, this is something which is very often overlooked. Food systems can be a key driver of economic and social growth. There are countries where 40% of people in the southern part of the Mediterranean live out of agriculture or agri-food. So we want to help our friends in the Mediterranean, the southern shore, to grow socially and economically, and agri-food can play a major role. So this is the scenario, and it was said much better before by natural scientists. The key word is clear, is innovation. And even journals, not only experts, The Guardian said, innovation is crucial for the new world of sustainability. Even journals say that. So what we have learned in recent years, I mean, in terms of, in the sector of agri-food, many programs were launched, many initiatives were launched. So we have a lot of expertise, we have a lot of knowledge, we have a lot of experiments, we have a lot of good practices. We have proposals, and we have some of these proposals became success, others not. So many things were happening, have happened, and which is the lesson that we learned? The lesson that we learn is that too often we have what we can call a silo approach. And that is something that we need to overcome. We need to follow a more integrated approach. What does it mean, an integrated approach? We need to put together, we need to combine the technological dimension, which very often is considered the first and sometimes the only one, with the social dimension and with the dimension of production and consumption. Only if we put together these 3 dimensions, it is possible to effectively deal with these issues. We should give more relevance to the social part of the problems. because we can find more easily the solutions for the problems. And we need to give more attention to the production and consumption part of the issues. And probably, if we go this direction, keywords will be partnerships and stakeholders' involvement. We need to involve more and more real people, citizens, consumers, and we need to put people to work together. So I will give a few words on these three dimensions. As far as the technological dimension, I don't need to add more because it was clear, even from the previous presentations, that we need to build an enabling environment. We need funds. Funds are always very important. We need to give an instruments mix, and then we can find solutions. But as it was said very well before, and that I think is a very important step forward, as it was said before, we have solutions. We have technological solutions. We have a lot of expertise. So I don't want to overlook this part, but we have them. It was said very well by Costas before that we know that we need to close coal mining, but we don't do it. So what is important is to give more role to the social dimension. So we need to better understand socially which are the challenges, why things do not change, why things do not change. And we need to understand the implication of solutions. This was said also by Pope Francis in his encyclical, that we need to go to the human and social parts of the change which are needed. Because we need to change mindset and principles. We need leadership. It was said before, leadership is key. We, in the field of innovation policies, we say that we need directionality of policy support. We need that innovation policies are directed in the right way, but in order to go in the right way, we need to have the right leaders, which is not really easy to have. And also we need to give weight to the so-called social innovation. Many things happen. Let's think about car sharing. With Riccardo Valentini, we were discussing car sharing. In Rome, it is becoming a very effective solution. It is a social innovation solution. It's not a rocket science, but some smart people putting together pieces, they have proposed this kind of solution which works. So social innovation means to use what is available, to put things with creativity, with more vision, with new strategies, and we can do a lot. But we need partnerships. The key word for the future will be working together, co-projecting, co-creating, and we can be optimistic and confident because millennials and young people are better than we in working together. So at least some beacons of hope. So the third factor is production consumption. We cannot follow a silo approach. We need to involve consumers, we need to involve producers. We know that business make a lot of mess, we know that, but we know also that we cannot do without them. So in terms of food, or agri-food for instance, we can convince them to produce reformulated products, to give more nutrition inside their products. We can convince them to be together in coalitions, able to valorize better practices. So we cannot be too far from production, but consumption is key. The issue of education becomes a priority. We need to see education as a key tool in order to promote sustainable development. And we need to work with the supply chain, those who are providing materials, ingredients to the final producer. Again, with new mechanisms, social mechanisms, new contracts, and we need to better understand how to scale up, which could be local, economic, and social solutions. So the message is innovation is key, but innovation is not a silo solution. It should be based on the combination between three parts. So this is just the analysis, but also we need to do something concrete. So what I'm presenting now is a major program, which is the most important research innovation initiative in the Mediterranean, ever launched, with a budget of €500 million over 7 years, and it is co-funded by 19 EU and non-EU countries and the European Commission. It is a partnership. We want to work together. We must work together. We need to create trust. Without trust, we don't do anything. So this is the program named Prima. I'm very honored to be the chair of the board of trustees of the initiative, where in the board there are representatives of 19 countries, all Mediterranean, plus a very Mediterranean country like Germany. But we are very pleased to have Germany, of course, aboard. And Italian research institutions are very keen on it, and I'm very pleased here to thank CNR for their continuous support, because they are a key actor in this initiative. So what we are trying to do is, we preach well, we try also to do well. So preaching is very easy, doing is not that easy, but we must try, otherwise we keep preaching. So partnerships are important. For instance, we issue calls, and we have calls from all over the rim. We had, the first calls, we had 800 partnerships participated with 5,000 research units from all over the Mediterranean, so huge numbers. There's a lot of interest. Definitely, we want to foster technological solutions, but also social and organizational solutions. We want to give room to the social part of it, so for instance, sharing good practices. We want to promote right behavior, so we have produced a massive open online course, MOOC, in cooperation with the Sustainable Development Solutions Network, the network led by Jeffrey Sachs, and we thank him for the support. We want to encourage behavior because, as Riccardo said before, without change in dietary patterns, without change in nutrition style, it is very difficult to change the future of our food systems. So it's not just a machine for calls. It's not just to calls, and technological solutions. These wouldn't work. We need to do something different. We need to create a platform of innovators involving consumers, involving stakeholders. It is the difficult part of the job, but we need to do it. Otherwise, it is very, very difficult. So this is the logo and the website of the observatory, where we collect practices, we share practices. This is the MOOC, because we do think that education is really key on that. And this is the Commissioner, Moedas, who says that it's the greatest achievement in Euromed cooperation, research, and innovation. And we are very pleased that things are going well, and we are all working very hard in order to make it a good result of citizens' money, because it is paid half by the Commission, as I said, and half by 19 countries. I would like to underscore that the governance of this initiative, which is technically a program, is a governance on the basis of the equal footing principle, which means that representatives of both shores govern together, decide together, fund it together. So funding is not only by the rich from the north, but also from the south. And that is very important, because if you pay, you are more accountable, and you want, and you will decide. So trust and partnership is very, very important. So in conclusion, especially after the presentations by natural scientists before, it is clear that agri-food sustainable innovation is key to deal with med challenges. So we are aware, but we shouldn't stop to technological dimension. We need to have an integrated approach, which is able to combine different dimensions. And this is very difficult, because it is easy to say we need to stop coal mining, or we need to stop combustion engine, but it is much more difficult to stop it. So combining the technological part with the social, but also the production and consumption dimensions. And we need to better understand the relevance of partnerships and stakeholders' involvement. Citizens, consumers, youth. The youth is fundamental. We need to take them into consideration more, and more. So what I presented is just a pilot case. The budget is an important one. 500 million euros over 7 years is a good budget, but we need more, because to do these kind of things you need more money, but also you need more areas of intervention. We should have in the Mediterranean an initiative for food, an initiative for mobility, one on energy, one on blue economy, strong initiatives like Prima, because this is what is needed in order to deal with the major challenges. Otherwise, we keep doing small things overlapped and without the proper scale, and without involving population, without involving governments. So this is the point that emerges from this experience. And as usual, as Kofi Annan said a few years ago, we have the means, we as researchers, as innovators, and the capacity to deal with our problems, if only we can find the political will. Thank you very much.